Hi everyone, I'm Meredith Abbott, Culinary Director for Sur La Table, and welcome to On the Table. Today I'm going to be making a one-pan chicken with a lemon-pistachio couscous. This one-pan dish is the perfect marriage of textures and flavors. I'm going to start by making my marinade. I have toasted and ground cumin for a little bit of smokiness, toasted and ground coriander, sweet paprika, and some ground cardamom. The mixture of these spices is everything from smoky, bright, a little tangy, and a little bit of floral too. Kosher salt, freshly ground black pepper, minced fresh garlic, and freshly squeezed lemon juice. All that's left is a little bit of olive oil, and this is going to help it adhere to the chicken. About 3 tablespoons. Whisk it together, just to combine it so it evenly distributes over the chicken. Perfect. I'm going to add my chicken thighs directly into this bowl. I'm using bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs because this really has the most flavor and it retains its moisture when it's cooked. Tossing each one to coat, and then adding the next one. And now I'm going to take this to the refrigerator to marinate for at least 1 hour, but you could do this up to 24 hours in advance. First things first, I'm gonna preheat my pan. About medium heat, add in some olive oil. I'm using both olive oil and butter today. Olive oil to get nice crispiness, butter for flavor. And let that melt. We want to use a nice wide but deep pan for this. We want some evaporation. This is a beautiful brazier. It's got a lid that fits on it. This is also a great pan for this one pan dish because it looks also nice on your table to serve in. You'll know when you're ready to add the chicken when your butter is foaming like this. When the butter kind of stops foaming, that means that all of that extra water in there has evaporated out and it's nice and hot. Okay, I'm gonna add my chicken in skin side down. I want that chicken to crisp, and if there's any extra fat under there, I want that to render out, and that will become part of the liquid that we cook our couscous in. I like to give it a little swirl once it goes into the pan, just so I know that there's really good contact. So, kind of arrange that chicken a little bit. Immediately, you'll start to smell all of those spices. They are blooming in that oil, and they're becoming very fragrant. You want to make sure that you're watching your temperature of your pan and watching the chicken. You want these spices to toast and that skin to crisp, but without burning. You're gonna cook the chicken on this first side most of the way through before we start making our couscous. All right, it's time to check my chicken. Lovely. I'm gonna flip them over and continue to cook on this second side for about 5 more minutes. Okay, my second side is nicely browned. I'm going to remove the chicken thighs out and set them onto a clean plate. Set these off to the side. Now I'm going to drain off this excess fat and leave just enough to coat the pan. If you've got any little bits in the corner that have maybe gone a little dark, you can just take a wooden spoon and scrape any of those off too. We just don't want any bitterness. Great. Now to this pan, you're going to add your pearled couscous. And to develop more flavor, we're going to toast this in that fat until the couscous has gotten golden and brown and it turns a little nutty in aroma. There we go. Now I'm seeing more toasted pieces. This is what I'm looking for. I can also hear it pop a little bit, which is a good sound. I'm happy with this. Now I'm going to pour in my chicken broth. Scrape any couscous off the side of the pan so it's submerged in the broth. so. And now I'm going to nestle in my chicken pieces just on top, like so. This is going to impart a lot of flavor into the couscous as it cooks. Put the lid on, turn it down to low, and let this simmer for about 15 minutes or until the couscous is cooked. While my chicken and couscous is cooking, I'm going to make a compound butter that's used as a mix-in to the couscous. So this is where all those flavors and extra textures are coming from. I'm going to start with a preserved lemon first. I'm going to show you what it looks like. You buy this in a jar or in a bulk section at some specialty grocery stores. You should be able to find it in most grocery stores now. It is a lemon that's been packed in salt and some lemon juice and left to kind of soak in its own brine. When you open it up, you'll see all of the flesh of the lemon and the seeds. For this recipe, we don't want those. So we're gonna scoop those out and then you're just going to dice the peel. That's where all of this really intense lemon flavor is coming from. If you can't find these, you can just substitute additional lemon zest with some more lemon juice to kind of mimic that flavor. So one of those, some softened butter. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a mash just to get it started. You want it nice and soft like that so all these ingredients can get incorporated into it. Add your preserved lemon. Currants or raisins, I have raisins today. They add a nice sweetness. Some toasted and chopped pistachios for crunch and color. And give this a mash. But you can also use cranberries, even some chopped dried apricots would be nice in this. Okay, that's mixed. I'm going to add some salt, some freshly ground black pepper. Now the zest of a lemon right over the bowl. Making sure to only get that outer yellow part. That is where all the flavor is packed. There you go. Mix this in. And then last but not least, I'm going to chop some fresh herbs to mix in. For this recipe, I'm using a mixture of fresh mint and parsley. To chop these up, I'm going to gather all these leaves, make them into kind of a mound, kind of roll them together so they're in one parcel. Secure them down to my cutting board with my fingertips, knuckles out, and with a nice slicing motion, I'm going to start working my knife through them. Like so, keeping those fingertips out of the way. Remound them, and I'm going to use this rocking cut to work my way through them and chop them up until they're small, kind of the size of the couscous actually. It's nice to have that consistent sizing. There you go. Nice pieces. I'm going to use my bench scraper to scoop all these up and add them to my bowl. Mix this up. Set this mixture aside until your couscous is cooked. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. Let's check the couscous. All of that liquid has been absorbed and has really flavored that couscous. So now just a few things before it's finished. I'm gonna take that chicken out again onto a clean plate. Don't reuse your other plate, clean plate. One last step before we're finished. Turn off the heat. And to the couscous, we're gonna add in this compound mixture that we made. Scoop that in and fold this into the couscous. Now you'll probably feel that some of the couscous is stuck to the bottom of the pan, which is delicious because you're gonna get some crispy, crusty bits, which is so good for the texture. So don't be afraid if your couscous is stuck to the bottom of the pan. Oh, look at those colors. The fragrance is amazing in here. You smell all of that lemon and those herbs, just really pops. Gonna give it a taste. Tasting spoon. My gosh. Those flavors, those textures, amazing. I am just gonna add a little bit of salt into it. Stir that in. add the chicken back to the top. So, nestle that right back in. Oh. My favorite way to cook. One pan meal, serve it right from the pot. You can go to your table just like this. There you have it. The last thing, I'm just going to garnish with some additional chopped herbs and a little squeeze of lemon right before I serve. Enjoy.